down at his educational hub this afternoon and thought we'd do something slightly different today in this particular video, and we'd look at some of the basics of nutrition. Now, nutrition is something that I've been interested in seriously for about 10 years. Before that, I always thought I ate well, I trained smart, I rested when I needed to rest. But I found that I had periods where I'd get quite a lot of fatigue, I'd injure myself, my mind would race quite a lot, I'd feel quite tired, didn't seem to be able to put in as good a performance on a regular basis. And I put that down to the fact that I wasn't aware of how important nutrition actually was. Then I went on a course with a company, and the guy that delivered that course absolutely blew me away. He mesmerised me with his knowledge of nutrition. And first, some of the things I questioned and I doubted, and I thought, this doesn't add up. But when I applied it, wow. You know, at 43 years of age now, I'm fitter, stronger, leaner than I have ever been. You know, better than when I was 23. But I also have a strong mind now, a strong body, because I fuel it in the correct way. And what I'm going to do with you today is I'm just going to give you a little bit of an intro into the essential nutrients of the body. That's going to be the main topic today. What nutrients we need as humans to allow our bodies to perform at their most optimal, to give us that maximum performance all of the time. And if we don't apply this knowledge, then we get what I used to get back in 2004 and 5 when I used to do quite a lot of marathon running, and I just had those weeks where I didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to do the training sessions, and it's because basically I wasn't fueling myself adequately enough, and that all stopped. And now, wow, you know, I eat that many calories on a daily basis. You'd be amazed what I consume. And my body fat, you know, is always below 15%. Always. It's never, ever any higher. So, the essential nutrients of the body then. What are we talking about? Well, there are 3 main nutrients that the body needs. And we call these the macronutrients. So the macronutrients are essentially carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, I'm not going to go into these in too much detail. I'm going to save that for another video. But cutting these out is probably the biggest mistake you can ever make. I've done low carb diets. All right, they just don't work. Okay, yeah, you lose a little bit of weight when you're on them if you want to lose weight, and then before you know it's all back on. All right, but there are serious repercussions when you cut out carbohydrates, because carbs are the main energy source of the body. We need that energy to allow us to train hard, to allow us to function in our daily tasks, to allow us to do our domesticated chores at the end of the day. You know, we need carbs. They're so important, as are fats and proteins. On top of these macronutrients, we also have other essential nutrients that we need, okay, that will allow our body to perform at its maximal level. These are what we call the micros, and they are vitamins and minerals. What's also crucial for the body to have is water. Hydration, making sure that you're hydrated properly. And what I also like to add in here is fibre, because fibre is great, okay, for ensuring that our waste is efficiently processed and we get rid of it in an efficient way. So, what I like to say is that the human body can be 2 things. It can be a BMW car. It can look good. It can perform brilliantly, okay? Or it can be one of those Russian-made larders. When your nutrition is poor, you're going to be at this end of the continuum. When your nutrition is bang on 100% all of the time, you're going to get close to this BMW. I'm always looking to get myself here on a daily basis, always. What we tend to find though, on average, people are kind of all over the show. You know, we cut out food, we train too much, we put too much emphasis on eating less and training more, when more often than not it's the opposite to that. By ensuring that we eat all of these essential nutrients in specific quantities, it will allow us to get closer to this and steer away from that Russian larder. So, how do we apply this then into a personal situation? So let's take me for example. Now, I consume all of these, and I consume them all in specific quantities. But before I get into that, I've got to know how much energy my body burns on a daily basis. And we call that basal metabolic rate. So, basal metabolic rate. Now, what that means is, if I was to sit here for 24 hours doing absolutely nothing, I'd burn a certain amount of calories. And if you don't believe me, stick your watch on and sit here for an hour, and you'll probably burn between 50 and 150 calories, and you just sat here doing nothing. Because there's loads of intricate things happening in your body that require energy. And you know that energy comes from calories. Okay, and when you burn it, you've got to put it into your system. So, your basal metabolic rate, okay, for me, it's about 3,000 calories daily. Just sat here doing nothing. But I don't just sit here. I work with clients. I go about my everyday tasks. You know, I take my lad to school. You know, I clean the house. I work with clients. That's all burning energy on a daily basis. I walk from here to the training area every day. You know, and I'm constantly clocking up calories. So on top of that basal metabolic rate, we also have what's called an activity level. Now, activity levels are quite difficult to calculate. It's usually a percentage of your basal metabolic rate, and it can be from 10% if you've got a sedentary lifestyle, so if you've got like a sit-down job or you're not very, very active, to up to 100% of your basal metabolic rate. So if you work in my industry, where I'm very, very active all the time, or if you work like on a building site where it's very, very manual and physically challenging, that basal metabolic rate on top of your activity rate can actually result in me consuming 6,000 calories a day, which is pretty much what I do every day. And if I do any training on top of that, we also have what's called our training burn. So this morning I did a strength and conditioning workout. I burnt another 500 calories, which I would add on to my activity level and my basal metabolic rate. Now, you don't really need to calculate all this, and I'm going to explain to you why that is in a second. There's lots of apps out there, and you've got kind of your Fitbits and your Apple Watches and your Garmin watches now that do it all for you. But just to show you how the maths works on this and how the science is applied, I now know what my daily calorie requirements are. We'll stick to 6,000. Okay, it's just going to make the maths easy to calculate. I'm going to show you in a second. So let's just say it was 6,000 in total. So that's basal metabolic rate, that's my activity level, and it's my training burn as well. So, of those 6,000 calories, carbohydrates, I consume 50% of them. 50% of my daily allowance comes from carbs. Now, the recommended carb consumption ranges from 50% to 60% of your daily allowance. But in this case, for me, it's 50%. So 50% of 6,000 is 3,000 calories. Yeah? So 3,000 calories of carbohydrate I eat every day. And I do. Every single day. Fats is 30%, which equates to 1,800 calories. And then proteins, 20%, which is 1,200 calories. And I do this, especially on an active day, and I'm active most of the time. I do this every single day. So 3,000 calories will come from carbs, 1,800 calories will come from fats, and 1,200 calories will come from proteins. Now, the recommended daily allowance for fats is between 25% and 35%. So I'm within that range. For proteins, it's usually between 10 and 20%. But these are my specific ones that I use for me. On certain weeks when I used to do lots of running, my carbohydrate content sometimes goes up to 55, even 60%. When I'm carb loading, a week before training, I probably eat 60% of my daily allowance from carbohydrates. Now, to work out how many grams of food this actually equates to, it's quite easy. You just divide your carbs by 4 and your protein by 4. Okay, but because fat has got 9 calories. 9 grams per calorie, you'd actually divide that by 9. And it would give you how many grams of food you would need to eat for carbs, fats and proteins. Now, you don't need to calculate any of this, because in a minute I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. On top of that, vitamins, I usually consume double the recommended daily allowance. So I have 2 multivitamins a day. When it comes to water, I have between 2 and 4 litres. If I'm doing lots of training, I tend to sweat quite a lot. I need to hydrate myself, so I do drink quite a lot of water. I'm always checking my urine colour. If my urine colour is clear, then I know I'm hydrated. If it's starting to go dark or yellow, then I need to make sure that I'm drinking more water. I'm on top of that quite a lot. If I eat the carbs in that quantity, a lot of the food that I eat, fruit and vegetables, I've got quite a lot of fibre in them. That fibre is going to help get rid of my waste in an efficient way. And minerals, if I drink water, if you ever bought a bottle of water, mineral water, and you look on the back of it, it tells you all the different minerals that are in it. So I get quite a lot of minerals from there as well. But remember, when you eat fruit and you eat food, you get quite a lot of water from that as well. So I don't always drink 4 litres of water. What I'll tend to do is probably drink between 2 and 3 litres, and then I get quite a lot of water from the food that I eat, especially like things like oranges and stuff like that, where you can taste the water within the foods. So that essentially, okay, is a basic introduction to nutrients. Now, you don't need to calculate any of this. If you've ever used MyFitnessPal, which is a great app, I've used it for years and years, and you link it to your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, it does all this for you. It will tell you what your basal metabolic rate is. It will tell you what your activity level is, and it'll also calculate your training burn. So whenever you do a training session and you put it on your watch, it'll automatically link into MyFitnessPal. So what you'll get is, on a daily basis, on a daily basis, is you'll get how many calories you've burnt, and those calories will be broken down into carbs, fats and proteins, okay? And then it'll tell you how many grams that actually is. And then there's like a little bar that goes along that's blue. And as that bar fills up, it's telling you that you're consuming the correct amount of nutrients to ensure that your body is 100% efficient. And if you do that day after day, week after week, you'll become that BMW car. And you'll never ever go back to looking and feeling like this. So that's a little bit of an intro into nutrition, and in this particular video, the essential nutrients of the body. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. Download the app, have a little look at it, put this information in, okay, and it'll be happy days. It will transform your life when you fuel your body the way it should be fueled. This is Barry Holmes, the Chief, down at his training hub, saying see you all later, gang.